Hey, it is 7:41 now. Northwest Arkansas has become a premier place for cycling, millions in revenue, hundreds of miles of trails.
Yeah, and to dive into everything you wanted to know, or if you plan to join in on the hobby with the warmer weather, we have the Vice President of Phat Tire here with us, Nicole Potter. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And so mountain biking, huge in the region. Some people even call it mountain biking capital of the world. So if someone's like, okay, I want to get into that, how do they do that?
Absolutely. Well, the hardest thing is to get off your couch and go outside. Once you do that, you're on your way.
That's a good first step.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. If you really show up at a mountain bike trail network, look for the green trails. It's just like the ski industry where there's beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Okay, so it kind of explains what you need to know there.
Yep.
On the
And
sides.
generally there's less climbs. The steep hills going up are harder. And then there's also all kinds of features that add difficulty. And if you look for that green marker on the trailheads, you'll know that you're on the beginner trail, and it's a great place to start.
Yeah, so don't start at the top. You start with beginner,
Yeah.
kind of ease into it.
Yeah.
Well, are there different trails around the area? Because it's not like all mountain biking trails. What if you just wanted to, take a ride with the family? What's the best place? Is it the Greenway?
Absolutely, yeah. The Razorback Greenway is such a gem we have here in Northwest Arkansas. It's 12-foot wide dedicated bike path. There's no cars on it. There's fewer street crossings. A lot of them have tunnels and ways to get across the busy roads without having to actually deal with traffic. And so you can bring your family, you can feel comfortable learning and getting better at riding, and you can go for little short distances. Just go to the local restaurant down the street, or start with 1 mile and then work your way up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Well, and I think one thing that's neat is you're starting to see a lot of these newer restaurants and stuff. They are prepared for having bikes parked outside of the restaurant, stuff like that. But when it comes to biking, there's different types of bikes and things that you need for whatever kind of biking you're doing. We talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how do you figure that
You can't
out?
go to Walmart, buy a bike, and then decide to go mountain bike.
Yeah, they do make them pretty particular, and our name's Phat Tire, but we also sell skinny tire bikes and everything in between. Because if you're going to be on pavement all day, the big knobby tires on a mountain bike are not exactly what you need. And then if you do want to go ride our really amazing mountain bike trails, you're going to want a bike that's ready for it. And so that's where come down and see us. I have rental bikes of all these types of bicycles, so you can try them out before you buy them.
Oh, so you don't have to, because they can become expensive, but if you wanted to try one out so you can figure out what you need, you can just rent it for the day.
Absolutely, yeah. Bicycles are, they can be $100 or they can cost as much as a used car, and everything in between. And that's why we rent really nice bicycles, so you can try them out. You get the idea of like, oh my gosh, this is really fun, and I have great places to ride right where I live.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So if someone is going out on a long ride for the day, or maybe they're a beginner and they want to try it out, what are things that they need to take on that ride or have for safety precautions?
Kind of the don't leave home without it is going to be a helmet. Gloves are nice. They keep your hands from getting tender, and if you take a spill, it's the first thing that goes down, so having gloves on is good. And then bring a water bottle. It's hot, it's humid. You got to stay hydrated. So those are kind of my don't leave home without it list.
And let's talk a little bit about you said, get up off the couch. That's the first thing. Sort of the exercise compared to some of the other things. This can be a really good hobby to sort of get you moving.
Absolutely. And the biggest deal in my business right now is electric bicycles. E-bikes just lower the bar. You do not have to be Lance Armstrong. You don't have to be in great shape to get out and have fun on a bicycle. And if you want to keep up with other people who maybe ride more than you have been, an e-bike just levels the playing field.
That makes sense, yeah.
You can have a conversation going up a hill. You're not all out of breath and winded. And it just lets you ride farther and faster. And it's really just a fun way to go enjoy the trails.
Absolutely.
And for people who may be intimidated, I guess, with the thought of mountain biking or even just like going and biking the Greenway, what would you say to them to encourage them about it?
You never forget how to ride a bicycle, and it's absolutely true. And if you haven't been on it in a while, just go out for fun. If it is not fun right now, you probably are done riding for the day. Start with an hour out on the bike, and you'll work your way up. We have these giant events in the area where people ride 100 miles on their gravel bike, and don't let that intimidate you. Just get out, have some fun on your bike, and you'll grow into riding more and more.
And breaking into the cycling community here, what is that like? Pretty welcoming group?
The most friendly group out there, because everybody is under their own power, and so it's a very humbling experience where everybody's kind of on the same page. And if you show up on a bicycle, you're a part of the group right away.
Love that.
That's
Well, hey,
awesome.
Nickel Potter, thank you so much for joining us here today. We sure appreciate that, giving us everything we need to know. Get involved. It sounds like something fun, right? Like spring's here.
Oh
Time
yeah,
to do it.
it's perfect.
I love that. Okay. All right.